Hello, welcome to ThePrint. I'm Amna Begum Ansari. Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju's interview with the Indian Express set the internet ablaze on Monday. Minorities received more government support. Whatever Hindus get, minorities also do. But what minorities get, Hindus don't, he said. And after that, he posted a tweet on Twitter which triggered a public spat with MP Asaduddin Owaisi. You hold a constitutional post, not a throne. Minority rights are fundamental rights, not a charity. The Asaduddin Owaisi wrote in the response of Rijuju's post. And as we can predict, this sparked a fresh round of political theater. Accusations were flying from both sides, claiming the moral high ground. However, the real crux I think about this kind of debate is the open clash between two ideas. On one hand is the old narrative which see minority as a marginalized group in the need of protection, basically the victimhood narrative that has long been the foundation of political discourse. On the other hand, a new idea is on the rise. The argument that the minorities are actually privileged group due to the policies which are in the place to protect them. And the implication is that majority Hindus are at a disadvantage since they don't benefit from the kind of policies and support system extended to the minorities. And this clash of narrative is the reality of Indian discourse in today time. While Rijiju tallies up the benefit minorities receive, OSCC focuses on the incident where Muslims have been victims of lynching and hate speech, and both fail to address the nuances of India's complex reality, I believe. So, affirmative action indeed exists for minorities, including Indian Muslim, who face significant socio-economic challenges. However, these policies must be restructured to address the hierarchy within the Muslim community. And it is the Pashmanda Muslim who sit at the bottom. Meanwhile, notorious gangsters like Mukhtar Ansari and Muhammad Sahabuddin, they are when get treated with as a respected leader by OSCE, or any action taken against them or such individual is painted as an attack on the entire Muslim community. That's the problem. That diminishes the real struggles of the Muslims. And Rijiju ji is technically wrong in his claim that India is the only country to protect its minority. There are several other nations with the similar kind of policies and affirmative action. But he's right when he points out that within the Indian subcontinent, Muslims are doing relatively well compared to the minorities in neighboring countries like Pakistan and Bangladesh. And while Rijiju's argument highlight the state of the subcontinent, it kind of also leave a space of fact that there is a room for improvement in India as well, or in any nation. So Owaisi rightly argue there that India should hold itself to the higher standard. But there is one contradiction in the value Owaisi wants the Indian majority to uphold: inclusion, equality, and respect. That he himself aren't the one who lives by these values when times comes. Like Owaisi objects to Ahmadis calling themselves Muslims, which echoes the exclusionary attitude in some of our neighboring Muslim majority countries. Indian Muslims are very quick to critique the majority's treatment of minorities in India, and yet we fail to question how we treat those within our community who don't fit into our narrow definitions. So, commenting on the Rijiju ji and Owaisi ji spat, BJP leader Prakash Reddy further argued that India's constitutional structure exists because the majority is Hindu. Almost I agree with it. This may be true. The majority often influences the country's identity, and I do argue that the current form of India we see because the majorities are Hindu, but the argument also often get distorted. It frames the majority as a victim sometime, like as a benevolent entity doing a favor to an undeserving non-secular minority. This is where we need a clarity on the conversation, I believe. A secular, inclusive and fair society isn't just good for minorities, it's crucial for the majority too. When diversity and justice are upheld, it benefits everyone, not just the marginalized. Look at the countries where minorities are made to suffer, where equality is sidelined, and it's just not the marginalized who suffer. Entire country pays a price. Everyone does, basically. A society that value justice, equality, and respect for all create a kind of stability, growth, and prosperity for the majority and minority alike. So, despite the lack of nuances, the Rijiju-Owaisi debate is essential, I believe. It's opened the door to a much needed dialogue, which is critical if we wish to understand the complexities of India's social landscape. The conversation allows us to question our assumption and at least attempt to understand one another. Open dialogue isn't about debating benefits and policies or pointing fingers. It's about creating a space for both sides to express their concerns, articulate their realities, and work toward a more inclusive society. Without this discussion, we risk letting misunderstanding go fester and division deepen. For more such a video, keep watching the print.